Hello and welcome to the San Jose State Weekly Football Press Conference. The Spartans have returned home after a road loss to the University of Oregon, and now will have their bye week before 3 consecutive home dates for San Jose State, including a game up at Levi's Stadium against Army. But the first of those 3 against the University of Hawaii in a couple of weeks from now. Tickets are available 408-924-7589 or sjsuspartans.com. Let's welcome in San Jose State head coach Brent Brennan.
Hello. Thanks for coming. Obviously a really hard game against University of Oregon. Credit to Coach Cristobal and the staff there. They did a great job. They made the plays they needed to play to win it. I thought I was really proud of our football team. Coming off of 2 losses, and you're going into atmosphere like Autzen Stadium on the road against a Pac-12 team. How is the team going to respond? And I think the leaders on the team, our seniors, I think the coaching staff did a really good job of preparing them, making sure that we were mentally and emotionally ready for the task at hand. And I was proud of the way our team responded. That being said, we didn't play well enough to win, and that's what's disappointing. We had 3 trips in the red zone that resulted in field goals. If we turn those into touchdowns, we have a different ball game. I thought our defense played another really great week of defense. Their effort was outstanding. The guys are making plays. We had a push in the turnover battle, so that's 2 weeks in a row of a good picture in the turnover battle. Not what we want, but better than it was week 1. And I think our team is continuing to make progress. I think the players are working extremely hard. The bye week comes at a good time because it gives us a chance to regroup after a couple tough road games and put in some work, get back to fundamentals, get back to emphasis on some things that we haven't done well yet, and give us a chance to get a really good evaluation and kind of scouting report of a very good Hawaii football team. So bye week is here. We're ready to get after it, practice tomorrow. Coaches will hit the road at the end of the week for some recruiting because we always got to be recruiting. We recruit every day. And so there's a lot going on. It's a busy Monday.
By the way, Josh Love played, the way the offensive line played, what you did in the red zone, like you mentioned, and time of possession. What things meshed, or what were the key salient points and how all that came about?
I think Josh went in there, was really steady. I thought he made some really nice throws. We knew that playing against that front from Oregon, they're really long and athletic, a really good combination of speed and length. And I thought the offensive line did a nice job. Joe Bernardi did a good job of getting those guys ready. I thought Coach McGivern had enough scheme, really good ideas there that kind of kept them guessing a little bit. Giving up only 2 sacks against a front like that, I think speaks to both the coaching from Coach Bernardi and then also the play calling from Coach McGivern. And then I thought Josh did a good job getting rid of the football. There's a couple missed opportunities there. I think if we capitalize on those, we can make it even more exciting towards the end of the game. But that's what practice is for. So we'll go back to work tomorrow. And but I was proud of Josh. I thought he hung in there and did a heck of a job.
How are you going to make sure the Spartans will build on their most recent performance for a win versus the Rainbow Warriors?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we have this bye week, right? So it gives us a chance to prepare. It gives us an extra few days of practice, which we need. We went on that trip. I think I mentioned last week we had 75 players on the plane, and 50 of them were first or second year players. So 2/3 of the traveling team is pretty new and pretty young, and they're running onto a field with 60,000 people, and it's loud and rowdy, and I thought they handled it well. So I say that because that young team needs a time to develop. They need practice, and that's what we get this week. So we get a week of practice. We're going to have a really good fundamental practice today, or Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and then we're going to let them take 2 days off and hopefully get a little bit refreshed and get away. And some of those young guys need to go home and see their families. They haven't seen them for a couple months, and maybe go watch their high school team play or something like that. But and then we get back to work Sunday. So we got a big week of work, and I'm excited, and the team's excited to put in the work and get ready to go.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
My question isn't about the game. It's a feature story. You know how it is with me. I love my hometowns of Antioch and Pittsburgh. So I'm working on a story about the players on the team from that area.
Okay.
And you and I have had some conversations about what the football culture is like over there. What intrigues you about Antioch and Pittsburgh and East Contra Costa County?
Well, I think it's high caliber football, meaning that those teams are well coached, and there's a lot of good players there. And I think the players from that area are hungry. I think they're hungry to play. They're tough. A lot of those kids come from situations that aren't, maybe as fortunate as others, and so they see football as their opportunity to get an education. They see that football as an opportunity to give themselves another chance or a new life, and so they just have that hunger, and they want to put in the work to get there. Does that work? Is that right? Does that make sense to you? You're from there, you would know, right? Yeah, you concur. Okay.
Defensively, obviously, the team plays well. Coverage question. Most of the time I've noticed when, at least particularly with Oregon, backs coming out of the field late or sneaking out, or even tight ends on a deep slot came out, that's where they got their big plays.
Right.
Is that more due to the right coverage call or assignment discipline, or how do you comment on that?
Well, that's a combination. I thought one of the reasons that we were so successful defensively in that game is because Coach Odom did a great job mixing up what they were seeing, right? Even if you listen to Coach Cristobal's comments post-game, he talked about the variation that their offense had to deal with in terms of, drop 8, pressure, man pressure, zone pressure, cloud coverage, just everything that they had to see. And I think that's one of the ways that Coach Odom does a nice job of mixing those things up. The first touchdown was a situation where it was two verticals coming from the slot, and we were in a defense that was for the run. And so that's going to be a hard one to carry. It's a situation where, a guy, has to be kind of covering two people at once, so to speak, in terms of the zone coverage, which happens a lot in zone coverage. And it was just unfortunate that, they called the perfect call, and we didn't recover fast enough, on it. And so credit to them. They made a good call and a good throw and catch, and that was part of it. And then the flip side of that is in some of those situations, we know that we're going to put some of our guys in a tough situation in the hope that we can land a pressure on time, right? So there's that cat and mouse game of, blitzing the quarterback, messing with their timing, messing with their rhythm, but then can they hit the throw, or can they get the ball off in time? And there were times on Saturday where they didn't, and there were times where they did.
How are you going to get a more effective run game?
Well, we're gonna work on it this week, and I think hopefully the work that the offensive line is doing is kind of going to shore that up and come together, and obviously that's a really important piece for us. When you're going against a front like Oregon, we knew it was going to be a tough battle running the football against that group, just with their size and their length. But I thought there were a couple more runs there that we just missed or kind of got out of a gap. And it had a chance for those to be a little bit bigger for us. But obviously that's something that's really, at the forefront of what we're talking about offensively right now. We got to find a way to run the football.
Report card wise, 3 weeks in, where do you think your team is compared to where you thought or had hoped that they would be at this point when you looked at it preseason?
I mean, report card wise, it's an F. We haven't won a game. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any other way to look at it. Now, do I think we're making progress? Absolutely, I do. Do I think these kids are working their butts off? They are. And the hard part is that you're just not getting the validation on game day with a win. But I think every kid in the program, every coach on the staff, the people that are around here, they can feel the progress. They can see the progress. And I think how the team rose up and challenged last weekend is a good indication of the progress that we're making. But in terms of, if you miss every shot you take, you're not getting it done. So that would be my honest assessment of the report card.
Hey, Coach, to divert away from game questions, can you tell me more about the the Shield the Bay policy or like method you guys have for recruiting?
The biggest part about the Shield the Bay is that when we took over here, we knew that it was going to be critical that we recruited kids from the Bay Area, you know, like Dimitri Sakalia, right? He's from Menlo Atherton High School, right? Or the kids you mentioned from Antioch, Pittsburgh, right? Or Cade Hall, who's playing for us from right here, right? And so that's such a big part of, there's so much talent in the Bay Area, and we know we can't take them all, but we want to make sure that we're giving high school and junior college coaches a reason why we're not. We're giving them our assessment. Hey, yeah, he's a good player, but we like this player from this school better, right? At the end of the day, we got to live with those decisions that we make, but we want there to be communication. So the Shield the Bay was like, no, we want to keep the best players in the Bay Area here at San Jose State. We don't want to see them go off and play somewhere else. And so that was the big message. And the Shield the Bay, you know, kind of fell in line with our mascot, you know, the Spartans, Shield. So I like to keep it all in the Spartan family, you know.
Okay, Shield, Northern California. Cole McDonald, sorry.
Okay.
The QB, he's from, I think, somewhere up north or Sonora or something like that, from Hawaii. Was he ever on the recruiting radar there?
You'd have to ask Ron Carriger.
Ron Carriger, okay.
That was, I think, before me. I don't know. Last year he played as a runner. I think they ran him as a quarterback some.
Yeah.
And we're not that far into the Hawaii prep, right? We just kind of just started, and we got 10 days till, 13 days till the game. So we're just getting going on that today. But yeah, that was a recruiting cycle before we got here.
Coach, what did Army?
He's a good player, though. Yeah, real good.
What did Army do to hand Hawaii their first loss on the season, and how are you going to help the Spartans stifle the Rainbow Warrior offense?
Well, I would say stifling the Rainbow Warrior offense is an incredible challenge. They're really, really good. Like the question I just had, their quarterback is an excellent player. They got great guys at the skill positions. They look to have a really good group in the offensive line. We know a lot of guys on that coaching staff. There's a lot of good offensive minds on that staff, starting with their head coach, Nick Rolovich. So, our team, our defensive staff has a real challenge getting kind of dialed into what they do right now. And then, the Army game, against Hawaii, the biggest thing is that they kind of controlled the possessions. Army was able to do that. They did a really nice job of keeping it out of Hawaii's quarterback's hands.
Since we're talking about Hawaii, and I see a guest in the back of the room there, Polynesian connection.
Yes.
Year past, obviously, with Hawaii coming in and the players and the coaches you have, what can you comment and say about that Polynesian connection there?
Well, it's such an important thing here at San Jose State, and it's been such a part of our history, for years, having a strong contingent of, kids with Polynesian backgrounds. I think for anyone that was here with Coach Tomey, or a lot of my coaching career was kind of started with Coach Tomey, and I coach at University of Hawaii, and just one of the things that kind of I learned from that culture, being around that culture, is just how loyal and kind of concentrated on family they are. And that was one of the things that we knew we wanted to increase about San Jose State's football program, was the brotherhood and the loyalty amongst our guys on the team. And the fact that we're in the state of California, where there is such a heavy Polynesian population, and the talent of those kids and how much they value the game of football. And, a lot of them grow up playing multiple sports, and they play rugby, and they play basketball, and they play volleyball. Sometimes they have a little bit more well-rounded, background athletically than some of the other kids we're looking at. That culture gives us a lot, on our football team, on and off the field.
The bye week, is there a concern about losing some momentum, or is there something different in the preparation you guys do or don't do that you're trying to keep up?
In terms of losing momentum, we haven't won a game, so I don't know that we have any momentum. But I would say in terms of the process of development of our team and of our program, the critical piece is that we keep working, and that's the talking about it today, where Dr. Harry Edwards was in here talking to our team, and one of the statements he made to our team was that the shortcut is hard work. There's no actual shortcut. Like, you actually have to put in the really hard work to get done what you want to get done. And so that's what this week's all about, is going back out there tomorrow, having a good physical practice, a lot of focus on fundamentals, a lot of focus on kind of getting our young guys more up to speed and closer to being game ready. As we get into our conferences and we get into the long stretch of the season, those guys are going to have to play. And so we need to get them ready to go. Thank you.
All right, that does it for this week's press conference. Once again, San Jose State on their bye week this week, but we'll get back to action in Seth Q Stadium next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 29th of September against the University of Hawaii. Starts 3 consecutive home dates for San Jose State. Tickets are available at 408-924-7589 or sjsuspartans.com. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll catch you next time.